Weakness isn't who you are. It's simply where you are. It's a sign that somewhere along the way, you handed your power over to things you can't control, the opinions of others, the outcomes you crave, the chaos of life around you. But the truth is, you can take that power back. And when you do, you become something rare, something unshakable, unmovable, untouchable. The Stoics understood that real strength doesn't come from wealth, status, or validation. It comes from discipline, from mastering your inner world so completely that nothing outside of you can dictate how you think, how you feel, or how you act. That kind of power can't be bought. It can't be taken. It can only be built day by day, through focus, through patience, through unrelenting self-mastery. This video is about that power, about the mindset that turns pain into progress, rejection into redirection, and chaos into clarity. It's the mindset that allows you to walk through the storm with calm in your chest, to be tested by life and still remain grounded, still remain disciplined, still remain in control. If you've been feeling weak, if you've been second-guessing yourself, if you've been letting the noise of the world drown out your own strength, it's time to reclaim it. Because when you command your mind, when you truly master yourself, the outside world loses its power over you, and that's when you become untouchable. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below, "I command my mind, nothing commands me." Now, let's begin. Number 1. Strength begins in the mind. Every victory and every defeat starts in your mind. The way you think determines the way you act, and the way you act shapes the life you live. If your thoughts are scattered, reactive, and controlled by fear or doubt, no amount of external success will make you feel strong. But when your mind is disciplined, steady, and grounded, you carry real power no one can take away. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He wasn't writing poetry. He was building armor, training his mind to stay unshaken no matter what chaos surrounded him. Psychologically, this is called cognitive control, the ability to observe your thoughts without letting them control you. Instead of reacting on impulse, you respond with intention. Instead of spiraling into anxiety or self-doubt, you ground yourself in calm logic. This is where untouchable strength is born, not in your muscles, not in your bank account, not in the approval of others, but in the quiet mastery of your mind. Every morning, remind yourself of this truth. You don't control what happens to you, but you always control how you respond. And when you claim that power, no one, not rejection, not failure, not betrayal, can shake the foundation you've built. Because strength doesn't begin in the world around you. It begins in the stillness within you. Number 2. Accept what you can't control. The fastest way to stay weak is to fight battles you can never win. Trying to change people, trying to rewrite the past, trying to control outcomes that were never yours to command. The Stoics understood this trap, and they gave us the antidote: radical acceptance. Epictetus said, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." That one principle frees you. It removes the weight of everything that isn't yours to carry. The words someone said, the choices they made, the opportunities that slipped away. None of those belong to you, and none of them get to control how you feel or how you move forward unless you let them. Psychologically, acceptance shifts your energy. Instead of wasting strength on resistance and resentment, you redirect it to what you can control: your habits, your discipline, your mindset, your growth. That's where transformation happens, not in the chaos outside, but in the clarity within. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. You release the illusion that you can control everything, and in that release, you find something most men never experience: peace. When you stop trying to control what isn't yours, you stop bleeding power. And the man who stops bleeding power is the man who finally starts building it. Number 3. Turn pain into power. Pain is unavoidable, but suffering is a choice. Most men let pain break them. They let rejection, betrayal, or failure define their worth. But a Stoic man understands that pain isn't the end of his story. It's the raw material that forges his strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your pain, your setbacks, your heartbreak. They aren't curses. They're invitations. Invitations to build discipline, to sharpen your mind, to grow into the version of yourself that no longer breaks under pressure." Psychologically, this shift is life-changing. When you stop seeing pain as an enemy and start seeing it as a teacher, everything changes. The gym session you didn't want to do becomes a ritual of resilience. The early mornings you used to dread become a symbol of control. The rejection that once crushed you becomes proof that you were meant for something greater. Pain will visit every man, but how you use it determines who you become. You can drown in it, or you can channel it. You can let it consume you, or you can let it fuel you. And here's the paradox. The more you embrace pain as fuel, the less power it has to hurt you. Because a man who can transmute his pain into progress is a man the world can't break. Number 4. Emotional discipline over emotional chaos. Every man feels emotions: anger, sadness, fear, desire. That's human. What separates the weak from the strong isn't the absence of those emotions. It's the ability to control them instead of being controlled by them. The Stoics taught that emotional discipline is the highest form of strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Notice what he didn't say. He didn't say to suppress emotion. He said to command it, to feel it fully, but to respond with reason instead of reaction. Psychologically, this is known as emotional regulation. When you practice it, your reactions slow down. You stop sending that angry text. You stop spiraling into anxiety. You stop making impulsive decisions that weaken your position. Instead, you create space between what you feel and how you respond. And in that space, power is born. Emotional discipline doesn't mean being cold. It means being calm. It's the calm of a man who can feel chaos rising inside him and still choose strength. The calm of a man who doesn't let disrespect drag him into arguments. The calm of a man who knows that silence, composure, and restraint can say more than 1,000 words ever could. When you master emotional discipline, you become unshakable. People feel it. They notice the difference. And more importantly, you notice it. You feel the strength of a man who no longer lets his emotions dictate his life. Because the man who commands himself is the man no one else can control. Number 5. Build daily habits that forge resilience. Strength isn't built in grand moments. It's forged in the quiet repetition of daily habits. The way you wake up, the way you eat, the way you train, the way you spend your time. These habits, done consistently, create a foundation of resilience that no chaos, no rejection, no setback can shake. The Stoics lived by this truth. Seneca reminded himself, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." That preparation doesn't happen once. It happens every single day in the small choices that sharpen your mind and body. Psychologically, these habits rewire your brain for discipline. When you train your body every morning, you're not just getting stronger, you're teaching yourself that you can do hard things even when you don't feel like it. When you journal your thoughts or meditate daily, you're not just reflecting, you're training your mind to stay calm and clear under pressure. Start small, but stay consistent. Wake up early. Move your body. Read for 30 minutes a day. Build something that matters. These rituals compound, and over time, they turn you into a man who doesn't need motivation because discipline has become who you are. And here's the beauty of habits. They don't just build resilience, they build identity. Every disciplined act reinforces the truth that you are in control. And the more you believe that, the stronger and more untouchable you become. Because the man who controls his days eventually controls his life. Number 6. Detachment from outcome. One of the biggest traps that keeps men feeling weak is attachment to outcomes, the desperate need for things to go a certain way. You want her to text back. You want the deal to close. You want the effort to be noticed. And when those outcomes don't happen, your confidence crumbles. The Stoics taught a better way. Focus on effort, not outcome. Epictetus said, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens." When you embrace this truth, you stop tying your worth to things you can't control. You start showing up fully, giving your best, and letting go of everything else. Psychologically, this shift creates freedom. You stop living in constant anxiety because your sense of success no longer depends on external validation. You stop chasing, stop clinging, stop begging the world to reward you, and instead, you start moving with calm, grounded confidence. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care deeply about what you can control, your discipline, your character, your effort, and you release the rest. That's what makes you powerful, because the man who no longer fears loss, failure, or rejection is the man no one can manipulate. When you detach from outcome, you stop being reactive and you start being intentional. And that intentionality, calm, focused, and steady, is what makes you truly untouchable. Number 7, the power of self-respect. Every man wants respect from the world, but most forget the first rule. You can't earn respect from others until you have it for yourself. Self-respect is the foundation of strength. Without it, you'll tolerate disrespect, you'll chase validation, and you'll compromise your standards for scraps of attention. The Stoics lived by this truth. Marcus Aurelius never begged for praise. His journal entries were reminders to himself to stay grounded, disciplined, and unmoved by flattery or insult. Seneca wrote, "The man who has self-respect can never truly be insulted." Why? Because no one else's opinion can touch a man whose worth isn't up for negotiation. Psychologically, self-respect changes everything. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop chasing what doesn't honor you. You start setting boundaries, not out of anger, but out of clarity. And those boundaries don't just protect your energy, they amplify it. People feel when a man has standards. They sense when he won't fold. That quiet confidence commands respect without ever asking for it. Building self-respect is simple, but not easy. You build it by keeping promises to yourself, by doing the hard things, even when no one's watching, by living in alignment with your values, by refusing to betray yourself for short-term validation, because the man who respects himself becomes untouchable, not because the world always treats him well, but because no one can convince him to forget who he is. Number 8, living with purpose, not permission. Weakness thrives in a life without direction. When you don't know what you're building, you become easy to control by people, by emotions, by circumstances. But when you live with purpose, everything changes. You stop asking for permission to move forward because your mission becomes your North Star. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius didn't need validation to lead. He grounded himself in his duty to serve the empire with wisdom and discipline. Epictetus didn't wait for freedom to live with purpose. He found purpose even in slavery, sharpening his mind while his body was confined. Psychologically, purpose creates clarity. It gives you direction when emotions run high. It gives you structure when the world feels chaotic. It takes your focus away from what you can't control and puts it on what truly matters, your growth, your mission, your legacy. Living with purpose means your time and energy are no longer scattered. Every day you're building something that matters, whether it's your body, your business, your relationships, or your discipline. And that quiet progress compounds, turning you into a man who doesn't just talk about strength, he lives it. And here's the paradox. When you stop seeking permission and start pursuing purpose, people naturally start respecting you. They sense the focus, the direction, the quiet confidence of a man who knows where he's going. Because a man with purpose doesn't need to be chosen. He's already chosen himself. Number 9, the calm confidence of the Stoic man. Confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need to shout or demand attention. Real confidence is calm, the quiet assurance of a man who knows his value and doesn't need the world to validate it. That calmness is what separates the strong from the weak, and the Stoics mastered it. Marcus Aurelius wasn't defined by the chaos of ruling an empire. He led with measured words and decisive actions. Epictetus didn't crumble under hardship. He built his philosophy on it. That's what calm confidence looks like. Strength that doesn't waver, even when the world tests you. Psychologically, calm confidence creates presence. People can feel it without you saying a word. It's in the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you move. Not rushed, not desperate, not reactive. That kind of energy is magnetic, not because you're trying to be noticed, but because people are drawn to stability in a world full of noise. This calm confidence isn't built overnight. It comes from discipline, from consistent action, from learning to control what you can and let go of what you can't. It's earned every day in the quiet moments where no one is watching but you. And here's the paradox. Once you build that confidence, you stop needing anyone's approval. You become untouchable, not because nothing challenges you, but because nothing can shake the foundation you've built. Because the man who owns his calm owns the room, every time. Number 10. Becoming untouchable. Becoming untouchable isn't about being perfect. It's not about being fearless, emotionless, or invincible. It's about becoming a man so grounded in his discipline, his purpose, and his self-respect that nothing outside of him can break his foundation. The Stoics lived this truth. Marcus Aurelius endured betrayal, war, and loss, yet wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Epictetus faced the brutality of slavery, yet used it as the forge for wisdom that would guide men for centuries. They were untouchable, not because life spared them, but because they refused to let life define them. Psychologically, untouchability comes from consistency. Every habit you build, every boundary you enforce, every time you choose discipline over chaos, you're building armor. Not the kind that makes you hard or bitter, but the kind that makes you strong, calm, and unshakable. And here's the quiet truth. Becoming untouchable doesn't make life easier. It makes you stronger. The storms still come, but you no longer fear them because you've built yourself into the kind of man who can stand in the middle of the storm and stay grounded. This is the reward of the Stoic mindset. This is the freedom that comes from mastering yourself. Not that life stops testing you, but that nothing and no one can ever truly control you again. Weakness isn't permanent, and it never was. Every moment of doubt, every moment of fear, every time you felt like you weren't enough, it was simply an invitation to rise. The Stoics knew that strength isn't given, it's built. One disciplined thought, one disciplined action, one disciplined day at a time. You don't need anyone to hand you power. You already have it. It's in your ability to command your mind, to control your emotions, to show up for yourself no matter what the world throws at you. That's what makes a man untouchable. Not perfection, not luck, but quiet, relentless discipline. So stop waiting, stop doubting, start building, because the man who controls his mind controls his life, and nothing and no one can take that away. If you're ready to stop feeling weak and start living with calm, unshakable strength, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I control my mind, and nothing controls me. Thanks for watching Stoic Blessing, where men rise, rebuild, and become impossible to break.